Here we are, live in Geekerville, North Carolina. We have EV the Geeker and a major geek and the hard-working geek. He really can GOG because it's really not that serious, but let's just geek with him. You know, he probably thinking one of us should be out here, but it's good for his health. And there we are, GOG, GOG. And he's tired. He fell out. GOG.
This is Saya. This is Toya. And you're watching the Geeker Report.
Previously on the Geeker Report.
When we come to America, we will seek him out and eat him alive.
His name's the Geeker, the Geeker, the Geeker.
His name's the Geeker, the Geeker, the Geeker.
His name's the Geeker, the Geeker, the Geeker. His name's the Geeker, the Geeker, the Geeker.
His name's the Geeker, the Geeker, the Geeker.
GOG!
It's your boy Troy coming live and direct from the Geeker Report with my man EV. And we tell him like this. If your homie think he funny, tell him G-O-G. Somebody say they getting money, tell him G-O-G. She getting smart with her mom, G-O-G. Sabrina voted for Obama, G-O-G.
What up, world? And welcome to the Geeker Report. And I'm your host, EV the Geeker. Man, am I excited about tonight's show. We got part 2 of the Lebron James saga. We are doing this show tonight in London, England. Man, I'm excited about that because London, England, as we all know, is home to the greatest queen of all time, Queen Elizabeth. And if you didn't hear about last show, tonight we're going to be talking about how LeBron went from king to queen. And so he's going to challenge, there's no question that even though Queen Elizabeth is the most popular queen in the world, there's no doubt in my mind he will be challenging her. And I'll be meeting her later for tea time, you know, not on the show, to discuss how she can keep her number one, you know, her number one status as far as the queen goes. Never in NBA history where has this been done. You know, we look at the great kings of the NBA past, the Magic Johnson, King Magic Johnson, King Larry Bird, King Michael Jordan, King Julius Erving, King Kobe Bryant. None of those kings ever gave up their crown, their king's crown, and decided to be a queen. So very interesting, very excited about talking a little bit about it. Hey, I'm not going to go into too much more detail because I have a poem that I've written from king to queen, and then an alien is coming back to discuss. He has a letter that he's written in response to Dan Gilbert, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. So, hey, sit back, relax, enjoy the show. But before we go on, here's a word from our sponsor.
I want a Big Mac, baby.
Do you want a Big Mac? Yeah, me too. I want one with everything on it, even that special sauce. Now you can get one at McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Dad, you want Big Mac?
No, I said, and I quote, now you can get one at McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Hey y'all, this is your Ellie, and you're watching the Geeker Report, G-O-G.
Dear Dan, you express your true self in response to LeBron James leaving your team. You clearly don't know what loyalty means. On our planet, loyalty means something. It means a firm, faithful commitment to a person or a cause forever. You called LeBron James narcissistic. You called him self-centered. You called him a quitter. And Dan, you may be right in your assessment of LeBron James. But on our planet, we have a saying. It takes one to know one. So Dan, we thank you for revealing to us just who you are. You are a man who doesn't care that his former employee brought in hundreds of millions of dollars into his hand personally. You are a man who doesn't care that his former employee pumped life into a dead city. A man who showed us his hand and then told the fans that it was going to be all right, but it won't be all right. Not because LeBron left, but because who's left? A man named Dan. Welcome back. That was an old wise man from the planet Geek, Vaughn. I thought he had some very interesting things to say about Mr. Gilbert, the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers. And I thought he said some very powerful and wise things. So, hey, I hope you've enjoyed the show. Man, we've been glad to share our thoughts with you. We have one more thought. Don't go away yet. We have one more thought to share with you. And it's a little short story. And it probably will help you understand where LeBron's coming from. And it's entitled From King to Queen. Hey, check us out on the web, thegeekerreport.com. Let us know. Send in emails, your comments. We'd love to know what you think about this show, whether good, bad, or ugly. Because you know what? It's all just a geek. All right, y'all, check this out. And Jill, from king to queen. There once was a man who used to be a king, one who had everything. A king who put his hometown on the worldwide map. A king who had them eating out of his lap. A king who owned the basketball court. A king who was the talk of the Geeker Report. A king who told his city, yes, we can. A king who spread that message all over the land. Then one day, the king woke out of his sleep. He looked into a mirror and realized he made promises that he couldn't keep. He said aloud, what am I going to do? Man, I bit off more than I can chew. Then he heard a beautiful voice call out his name. He looked around and said, who's there? It is I, the ghost of fame and shame. The king said, what do you want with me? I can help you with your problem. The king said, how can you do that? There is a king named Wade in another country who will let you be a part of his kingdom. He has already let Prince Bosch in. He said you are welcome and that he can help you realize your dream. The king thought about it long and hard. He thought about his people that he would leave behind, family and friends of all kinds. He said to himself, my army and me just couldn't get it done. He then realized, I'm not the chosen one. He said to the ghost, tell King Wade and Prince Bosch that I am coming. Then the ghost told the king, there is one thing that you must do. What must I do? Asked the king. You may no longer be called a king. You must become King Wade's new queen. The king looked up into the sky, and with a loud voice he yelled, why? Then the king took off his crown, and he couldn't believe the sound. His kingdom was under attack. He heard his former followers tell him, you're whack! He yelled back to them and said, I'm still a king! The crowd laughed at him and said, all hail the queen!
It's your boy Troy coming live and direct from the Geeker Report with my man EV. And we tell him like this. If your homie think he funny, tell him G-O-G. Somebody say they getting money, tell him G-O-G. She getting smart with her mom, G-O-G. Said we done voted for Obama.